and the other one, it's in the most chaotic circumstances when two teams are playing for their lives. A call from the refs that I think it's very brave, but very consistent with what they've been talking about all season. So when I have to be critical, I have been, and today I have to praise them at least for giving the option to a referee to decide. Away from the lights and the chaos, to give clarity to him to make the right call. And I think when you look at the action in that way, I think it is an obvious error, and it is a free kick, and the goal has to be disallowed. So congratulations, because they made a big call in very, very difficult circumstances.
When we see that VAR decision, Nico, it's almost altered history, hasn't it? Because it could have won Arsenal the league and it could have gotten West Ham relegated. Do you think it's the biggest VAR decision that we've ever seen in football?
I don't know if in football, but definitely
in the Premier League.
In the Premier League. I do agree with Arteta that it was a brave call, because I don't think anybody wants to go over to the monitor in that situation. The goal happened, and it's almost like, just let it stand as it is. But of course, VAR will nitpick everything. You slow anything down, and you will find the infraction inside of the box. Where I don't agree with Arteta is that it's consistent. I think that is our major gripe walking away with this. Listen, to me, there's a smoking gun in all of this. There's a hand on a goalkeeper's forearm, and that's a smoking gun. That, if you want to rank like everything that was happening inside of the box, because I think you could write a long list of grievances that that's happening inside of the box, the one at the very top is the focus of the play, and it's a forearm on the goalkeeper. But if you talk about consistency, I think it's kind of rich that Arteta's talking about consistency here.
Why is it rich? Just because it's been an Arsenal?
This is the whole irony of the situation, the entire league.
We have had, it's funny to me as an Arsenal supporter that he said that, because we have had no consistency at all. One weekend, this might be a foul. The next weekend, it might not be a foul. And then the weekend after, this is what we've been talking about on this desk,
Aaron,
literally
this has been one of the definitive facets of this Premier League season.
There is no sort of level where we point, this right here is the foul, and then this is not. This right here is the foul. There's no consistency in the slightest, and it's so frustrating because you can't point to a video and say, okay, this week it's a foul, this week it's not. And it's incredibly frustrating, honestly.
Well, I think referees call things differently in general, right? And I don't think there are any two fouls that are the same, right? This, for me, is like a three-sided, this story's got three sides. The Arsenal side, the West Ham side, and the VAR side, right? From an Arsenal standpoint, of course, it's a foul, right? From the West Ham side, it's not a foul. From the VAR side, they got other determining factors in this thing, right? I'm with Nico. As a goalkeeper, you put your hand on my arm, it's impossible for me to make a play. But I do remember a conversation I had with our good friend Jeff Shreves, who was sitting here one day, and I said to him,
who loves VAR,
who's obviously an Arsenal fan, and I said to him, it's amazing how many picks they set the entire season. I don't care if Arsenal wins, it's not my team, I just enjoy watching football. And he said to me, what's a pick? And then I thought to myself, you don't know what a pick is, right? Which is essentially what Arsenal does on every single play. At my age, if you asked me to set a pick on a player and not allow you to jump, I could still do it, right? That's where, for me, this game has to change. Right? And the calls have to change. It's amazing to me, because then I'm thinking, in my demented brain, I'm going, okay, well, if Jeff Shreves doesn't know what a pick is, then none of the refs know what a pick is either, right?
You know what I think happened yesterday? I think Chris Kavanagh wanted to be consistent. I think he wanted to call that corner, as most of the corners the entire season this year in the Prem have been called. A lot of jostling, a lot of grappling. The cross comes in, the mayhem happens, the ball crosses the line, he gives the goal, and then VAR sees this.
Yeah, it's, as you mentioned, the smoking
gun. They see this. It is the smoking gun. How do you ignore this moment at the focal point of the play, a goalkeeper trying to catch a ball and a player holding onto his arm? Then again, I do understand that people that say, well, there's grappling behind, right? There's shirt pulling, there's penalties everywhere. So I don't know if this supersedes everything because it is the goalkeeper, because goalkeepers do get certain protections. So I do understand why everybody is up in arms.
Just think of the timing that has to happen from a goalkeeper, how perfect it's got to be. If Aaron puts his arm up, it doesn't take much for me to just move him 1 inch away, and that's it. And you're done. Like, your timing is completely off at that point. And for me, this is a foul, 100%. Now, all the other stuff, the problem everyone keeps arguing about, well, there's another foul here and there's another foul here. We don't have, like, offsetting penalties. You know, we don't have, like, okay, Hannah made a foul over there, but Aaron's on the other team. Well, it's 2-1 or it's 2-2.
Offsetting penalties, 5-yard day.
You know, we don't have that, right? And the only moment we're looking at is the moment that impacts the play the most. But, yeah, I mean, you saw there. Whether you think the other one's a foul or you can see there's just far too much wrestling going on, right?
Yeah, we can argue whether or not there should be a time limit on VAR, whether or not there should be a specific protocol on only triggered on these plays. But once we're in VAR, there's no time limit anymore. It has to be called correctly, and I do think they got the call right, even though the controversy.
And this is the worst part about VAR, is that referees are afraid. Well, to me, the most glaring, the most clear and obvious issue with VAR is that referees don't want to make the big calls in the moment because they always have this safety net. And the bigger the moment, the more intrusive the VAR call. And because of this lack of ownership in the moment from the referees, they're not sharpening their craft. They're letting VAR do the refereeing. They're afraid to blow the whistle. They're not sharp enough to see the hand on Raya and call it before the bananas moment at the Olympic Stadium. You stop it right there, you say, foul, take ownership of the situation. Instead, you're letting this very foreign concept that, how I feel about it, it's very antithetical to the way that football, the energy that football brings. You let this foreign concept come into the game and re-referee, retell you what happened. You can look at it in slow motion. Yes, was the call right yesterday? Yes, but with this same tool, a lot of the calls from before were not being made. Yeah. The right calls were not being made.
Yeah.
That is the most frustrating part out of all of this.
It does seem like if Arsenal go on to win the league, this would be one of the biggest moments of their season. They do have that 5-point gap at the top of the table, but of course Manchester City have that game in hand. They're playing against Crystal Palace this Wednesday.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.